All right, everybody. Jesse and Vanessa here today with the Murfreesboro music scene with our featured band of the week. We have here from left to right, we have Josh, Jeff, and Justin, the three J's, and they are three of the four band members of Aconundrum. Is that absolutely right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it.
Just like the actual word conundrum. So
yeah.
So that's cool. What made you guys decide on that name, a conundrum? I mean, it's a noun that means something. Does the meaning of the word have a direct?
So, have you seen Venture Brothers?
I have not actually.
So there's a scene where Dr. Orpheus meets with the Cerberus, because the Cerberus is I believe was his mentor. And he's in this little slump, and he's trying to get some advice from him.
Mm.
And in the middle of it, the Cerberus, the left head is licking its genitals.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know what? Hey, give me a moment here. This was really good. I'm going to let it do its thing. But the problem is that I could taste my genitals. So I could taste my genitals in my mouth. And then that's when he proclaims that as a conundrum.
A conundrum, yeah.
So that's what a conundrum means to me. Now, if you guys have
So this just went from
like how
0 to
that's the first
60.
question.
in like
We're
a half
already
a-
there.
This is how band practice goes. Every time. We try to get something accomplished, and then
Balls in the mouth.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
yeah, it always spirals down to
that.
Yeah.
to that.
We go that route. But yeah.
That's comical.
Perfect. I actually like that story. Can we just stick with that?
Yeah, I think we can. Yeah.
That's your story, and you're sticking with it.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
had a bunch of other names that we couldn't decide on, and then we all kind of have like different styles and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it just kind of seemed like each one of us was our own conundrum within itself.
Yeah.
And when you put it all together, what do you sound like? They're a conundrum.
Yeah.
So it's like wordplay.
Yeah, each of your own individual bios on your page it's such a wide array of musical influences.
So we just try to cover everything.
What were some of the other names that you had picked out?
Shirt Cat.
Shirt Cat was
Shirt Cat.
Shirt Cat.
Yeah.
We also went with I think Missing J.I. because we were all started with J's.
J-A, J-O, J-U, J-E, no J-I.
No J.I.
Yeah, so it was perfect.
And then
She stuck with that one, actually.
I was pushing for it.
The unsweet J's. Somebody liked that one.
yeah, I don't know.
The other J that's missing, by the way, is Jake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who, for those of you watching this, Jake also plays in one of the previous Murfreesboro music scene feature bands, Conquer the Distance.
Great band.
So yeah, good guys there too. Yeah. And Jake's awesome.
Yeah, he is. And I love Conquer.
And how was the band formed? I know you mentioned to us earlier off the interview that Justin, you started it about 3 years ago, but now really just officially got all the band.
Yeah. Well, it started with me and Josh. Actually, we started working at Cracker Barrel together, mind you, serving.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard him singing, doing these little runs or whatever, because he's obsessed with Beyonce.
Okay.
So he'd always sing Beyonce songs online or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, we should write sometime. And a couple years, we had a couple songs, but I never had a group. It was just me and him. And then Jake started writing with us, and then right after that, Jeff started writing with us, and we just kind of went from there. And
this is cool.
A conundrum.
There you go. And so that way we all know who does what for the band. You were you're saying that
Yes.
Josh, you do the singing part
I'm
of the band.
Singer. Mm-hmm.
Come on, give us some Beyonce.
Ooh, her birthday was just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I don't know what Beyonce. Oh wow, that was so. Come back to me on that.
Put
I
him
got
on the
you.
spot
Come back to
before
me
the
on that.
interview's
Florida
over.
happened.
I was like,
Yeah,
what Beyonce
yeah.
song would I? Oh wow, ooh.
I'm down with Don't Hurt
At
Yourself.
any point in the interview, just Go
whatever,
for it.
we'll understand.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna think on that. Yeah. Okay.
So then you do the git fiddle, and you
I
play drums, and Jake, of course, is not here, but
he's a
does
keyboard
bass.
player.
He's the keyboard player.
No, he's
He's
bass
the.
player.
I was like, wow, man of many talents.
He plays good keyboard though. He does play good keyboard.
Very
Pretty talented little creature that one is. Fluffy Jake.
So, in terms of you guys, we heard that you're heading into the studio soon.
Yes.
You're going to be recording your first album.
Yes.
What can we expect to hear on this album? Like, what have you guys been working on musically and lyrically, and then what can we expect from this?
So the inspiration behind the band's name, in all seriousness, is this eclectic blend of genres and styles. So with this first one, we really want to drive that point. So we have a dance song, we have some acoustic tracks, slow ballads, we have some rock songs as well. We have a nice little mix of flavors in this record. So it's going to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we're really pleased with what we have in terms of the songs that we have in this current structure. When we get to the recording studio, I'm really pumped about being able to paint this full picture that we all have in our heads right now, because a lot of our rehearsals and a lot of our performances have been this linear sort of picture. With the studio, we're going to be able to layer different textures and and extra dimensions, and we all see it right now, and
Just a matter of getting it out there for other people to see. If you had to give anybody an idea of like what you guys sound like, or something of what you're leaning towards, of people that like this will like you, like hey,
we've got a lot of comparisons with Alabama Shakes is one of them.
Yeah, that's a reason.
Like more rockier Alabama Shakes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Big shoes to fill though.
Yeah,
She's
definitely.
amazing. So, all right.
What artists inspire you the most, and why?
Well, I'll start first. Aside from Beyonce, who's name?
We got that part covered.
Yeah. See, I love Paramore, the band. Amazing. This is indie pop band out of Brooklyn named Lucius, two-part harmony. But it's a 5-piece band, but the two women, they sing in unison, they dress the same. Their vocals are insane. Like, I've never heard, chills every time I hear them sing, and I love them. They're really sweet people. I've met them a couple of times. I kind of like all kind of music, really. I'm all over the place.
So the reason why I picked up the guitar is Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
Around high school, I had a friend who would pick me up from one state, and I lived in Kentucky at the time, and I still have family in Tennessee. He would pick me up, drive me to Nashville to allow me to visit my family. And there were two staples in that car. This guy exposed me to Van Halen and U2. So The Edge is also a great influence on me. I love shred guitar. Steve Vai, Satriani, Eric Johnson, and I've been on a huge crush over Brendan Smalls with his work with Metalocalypse or Death Clock and Galacticon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those are my flavors right there.
Nice.
I'm a huge Tom Petty fanatic. My fiance got me tickets to see him, and I about cried. And I think that's the only concert I've ever almost cried to go see.
Oh wow!
It was like my
here
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Nashville.
Yeah. It was at Bridgestone. I also love Seether. Breaking Benjamin, or a couple artists. Sean Morgan is probably one of my favorites in terms of like the overall feeling or whatever, that the emotion that gets thrown into a song. I just think he does a really good job at kind of conveying that out. And then as far as like actually playing drums, Tony Royster Jr., who plays with Jay-Z, Chad Smith, and of course, forgot his name.
Of course,
I forget his name.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, him.
Yeah. Joey Jordison.
Really person.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
I was a huge
Don't hear a lot of
Slipknot fan way back when. I think Chapter 9 Live
Right.
when it was out or whatever.
Right.
I love that album.
Yeah, man.
So
Very cool.
So, what is the message you're given through your music, and why is it important to you?
I like this one. I guess the message is kind of just vulnerability. It's kind of this first round. It's kind of the album's gonna be called Layers. So the thought process behind it was, as we were writing this and creating this process, I started to notice within myself. I think we even had like some deep conversations, like while we were writing, like how much I've grown as a person, and just becoming an adult is a weird thing. It's a scam, guys. Don't become an adult. But like, growing up, you learn so much about yourself and all these different layers. So it's kind of like peeling away these layers of like who I am as a man, as a lover, as a person, like all these different feelings and emotions. So it's kind of that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be different. Like, I'm not your typical rock singer, period, actually, entertainer, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like that is what one of those layers is, like peeling away that you can just be exactly who you want to be, exactly how you want to be it, and just stop being afraid to be that person. So that's another layer that I'm actually working on right now, is fear. Stripping away it. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
that pretty much summed mine up too. So thank you.
I think that's a great. I think that's a great thing to convey to your audience and to people in general, because society has become so like stigmatic of this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
And so people can be feeling afraid of expressing themselves or being what they want to be because of a certain stigma that it's put on them, and it's great to have
Let your free
music
flag fly.
convey that. Yeah.
And we're like super fun people. So like, that's one thing I always want to convey, whether I'm performing, talking, singing, that I'm a fun person. Like, I just love to have fun. Like, I hate drama. I hate all the mess.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just laugh and have a good time. Like, we could be so much further in life. We just like all the petty and stuff. But that's just me.
I love the drama.
I know. I know. We fight all the time.
All the
You
drama.
really do.
It's the really great. Like,
Feed on the chaos.
yeah, I should be the most dramatic one in the group because I'm the lead singer, but it's actually not. Like, they are. They are more dramatic than I am, and it's so funny to me. Am I lying? See?
The look says it all.
Tossing us under the bus.
No. I'm
Not like
driving the
that.
bus. What do you mean? I love you.
Tossing us in front of a bus
What?
in park, and
Oh my gosh. It's not even like that. No, don't think like that. Don't, no. No, Jeff. I need you.
What are your goals for the upcoming year?
it's the record right now.
Yeah.
It's being able to nail this record, being able to comfortably finance it, which we also are planning on launching a Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Or
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo
Yeah, like the
campaign
yeah.
to help finance this record. So once we get details on that, we're going to launch that ASAP, with the recording just around the corner. so
Be on the lookout for that.
yeah, those are the two big things that we have for this current year. We're going to try to get involved with as many venues and other bands as we possibly can. We have great people that are linked with us right now to really Dixie to really make sure that we're heading on the right path.
Yeah.
And that we make the right connections that we need to make, because for me, I think we all understand that talent is just this much of what makes a band successful. So it's all about the big picture, the connections, the business, and making sure that we nail these little things that we don't typically want to think about.
Hmm.
So
That's good to have a like you say, representation or somebody in your corner to help you with that, because you guys are I mean, I think the music industry has become the artists are all, it's DIY for everything.
mhm.
You got to be marketing, you got to be,
Mhm.
you know, selling your merch, you got to be booking your tours, you got to be doing all these things, so when you get that helping hand in your corner to help you with some of the business end of
Oh,
stuff,
yeah,
I'm sure
she's
you can focus on the music
yeah.
and writing good stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's the
then
plan.
you can have
Yeah.
somebody else or some others or whatever help you with all the other legwork and stuff. So, um, here's an interesting question for you guys. If you could speak to a deceased artist or musician, for that matter, who would it be, and what would you say?
First, Amy Winehouse.
Okay.
I want to know. Man, it's so many questions, but I think I want to know lyrically. Like some of her songs, like I sit there and I'm like, were you in the room behind me? Like, did you see me like go through that? Like, what's happening right now? Like,
Yeah.
she just sang with so much emotion and so
Mhm.
much. It was like you could hear it in her voice. Like she was troubled, but she had such a great voice, and I just want to sit and talk to her. Like let me rub off on me, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy Winehouse for sure.
Still thinking.
Yes.
Mine would be probably Jim Croce.
Yeah,
do
man.
you know Jim Croce?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
My dad and my mom would play his little record they had, I think it was 8-track they had.
Yeah.
Play that like when I was growing up or whatever, and I fell in love with, the 154 or the 145 of his songwriting and just the stories that he was telling and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm. It's a
he
good one.
died way too young in a plane crash, like
Yep.
all the other greats. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, rolling the dice, and it says Stevie Ray Vaughan.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. If anything, to learn the essentials of what he did, because there's a lot of mystery behind his gear and behind his technique.
Yeah.
The guy had pretty strong hands, and the way his guitar was set up reflects that. And I kind of want to know the big thing that I'd like to know about guitars is whether or not they sound the same with different gear.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this video of Eric Johnson playing through Zach Wild's setup, and he still sounded like Eric Johnson. It was
Wow.
fantastic. It was weird to see this morphed out flying V sort of shaped guitar in Eric Johnson's hand,
Yeah.
and still he's able to convey the message that he wants to convey with his own voice. I would be very interested to see whether or not Stevie Ray Vaughan would still be able to sound the way that he did with today's technology and with today's gear.
Yeah. And I wonder that too sometimes when it comes to like musicians and their playing and stuff from years and years ago, when there was obviously mixing and mastering and post production of recordings and things like that, but when you hear like remastered versions of old recordings and stuff, it's like I'd love to have heard that original, like in person type stuff to see how like it seemed to be focused more on honing your craft back then, because there wasn't all this fancy technology to tune it up and fine tune things and stuff later on. So you really had to be on top of your A game, so to speak, right then and there. Yeah, those are some good selections, guys. Last thing we always like to run by and give you guys a chance to put a plug out there for is like where people can find you on social media. We know about the Facebook page. Do you have any other platforms that you're currently using or plan to use? Or
Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Aconundrum music. Aconundrum.music. Yes. Aconundrum.music.
On Instagram.
Yeah,
On
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
And I think once we get more content that we can kind of share with everybody, I think we're going to try to start up like a Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation. Yeah.
So just like another platform people can go and listen to.
Yeah, Bandcamp, those YouTube, of course. Like those things are always really cool, and we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Any you said you guys are really focusing a lot on the album. Any upcoming shows that you guys have going on, or planning on trying to play anytime soon that you know of? Or
we might. We're mostly focused on the album because we're going to the album this month, and then next month, good old Hefe here is going to Japan for a while. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Exciting.
So.
What takes you to Japan?
1 year anniversary.
Really?
Yep.
Awesome.
Very nice.
We're going to go to Tokyo, and then we're going to go to Okinawa to visit some relatives. And
is that your cultural heritage?
Japanese, Korean, and Mexican.
Very awesome. Always wanted to travel the world, but I mean the culture. I love sushi. I love Japanese food. Not to sound cliche or whatever, like tacos
once
in Mexico.
we get to Tokyo,
I love sushi. I could
live
put
on
myself
sushi.
into a coma on some sushi. Man.
yeah, we're gonna drown in.
I would
sushi
love
over
to
there.
have some sushi in Japan or some ramen. Some proper ramen.
Oh, another plug that I could do is my family's restaurant, Koto Sushi Bar. So if
nice.
you like sushi, we've been in business since '85.
And where's this?
Downtown Nashville.
Okay, cool.
No, not Union.
Koto, right?
Koto.
Koto.
K-O-T-O.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Koto. I've heard of it, and I've heard very good things.
It's not Union. It's not Church. It's another street.
Yeah, just Google it.
just Google it.
Koto.
Union,
It's the only
Commerce,
one.
maybe?
Yeah.
Not,
No.
or maybe it's Union.
We can Google
Because
it.
Union and Church are right all around that area.
It's right next to the arcade.
Okay.
It's right next to the arcade in front of the Bank of America Plaza.
Terrific. Now, just to kind of go into that a little bit, does sushi making and all that stuff run in your family? Has your dad been a sushi chef, or how's all that been?
I tried making sushi once in front of customers. This was a long while ago, but the customers laughed at me, and so did my dad. And I've never made another attempt to make sushi.
That would shoot me down pretty quick too. Be like, all right, that's okay.
Yeah.
Sushi night. So I can see this.
I'm not making sushi
But why would you not?
because the customers and
That's
my
not-
dad laughed at me.
That was
He's
it.
emotionally scarred
Just
from that
That
experience.
was
Shut them down.
that
That was it. Do you guys have any merch?
We
at this
don't
time?
currently.
Working on it.
We're working on it. Yeah, we're still early on wanting
Yeah.
to get everything ready for the
Cool.
release.
Yeah, once the album
February
comes out.
2018.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So there's a date. We have February of 2018
There is a
for
date.
the Aconundrum. Aconundrum.
Yeah, no,
Aconundrum.
Aconundrum. You said it.
ACO for short. you
Aco.
want to-
Very cool. Yeah, this is
Say
awesome.
my name,
We have
say
one-
my name.
There you go.
Arms around you.
How about put a ring on it?
Oh yeah.
Since he's engaged and they have their 1 year
Yeah.
anniversary.
It's really funny. I don't know if they mentioned this. His fiance, his wife are sisters. So
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of how.
We're
Oh,
about
neat.
to be related.
So and
So
then his mom
cool.
low-key adopted me as well. As well as I love my mom. She's great. So I have like 19 moms.
Nice. Band mom.
So we're like all
cool.
family.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
I'm your brother.
Don't rub it in.
The older brother.
Don't rub it
I
in.
guess we are all
Yeah.
pretty much in the same camp.
This is gonna get like
It's gonna get
I can't
really
wait for the
good.
arguments when they happen.
I can't. Arguments. Y'all gonna lose them all. So.
I know we are. Well, I am. I always lose the argument.
Yeah. Yeah. You really
Starting off on the right foot there, buddy.
Yeah, you know.
You already know.
I just throw drumsticks in the back. It's fine.
That's fine.
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to answer our questions today.
Thank you for having
And
us.
everybody, check out Aconundrum on Facebook, on Instagram. Keep the lookout for them on Reverb Nation or some of these other music streaming sites. And be on the lookout for the new album. coming
This is our
out
gang sign.
in
It's
February
not
of
fire. I
2018.
can't even, not even.
I might have to dislocate a few fingers for that. So.
February 2018.
Aconundrum.
February 2018. Awesome. Thank you guys again so much.
Oh,
It's been
thank
great.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Have a good night.